I want to go on into health because almost everybody has an interest in health. And this is where kinesiology has been used the most. So, Lily, come on over here.
Okay.
The way kinesiology really started back in the 70s, the way it was used the most was for medications and health foods, things like that. For instance, we could take this apple, which is a commercial apple. The energy of this apple is positive. It is.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is a commercial apple full of pesticides, most likely. You read in the one thing I got away from health food and health food literature in a lot of holistic belief systems is because they tend to propagate a lot of this stuff, that insecticides and all this kind of thing. All right, you come out over here. Now you test me.
Okay.
Where's that thing with the pesticides?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
All right. You want me to ask if this is healthy?
For me.
This apple is healthy for Dr. Hawkins. Uh-huh.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Why? Because I cancel the belief systems that pesticides have any power over me. Nothing out there has any power over me. I'm subject only to what I hold in mind. There's nothing in the world that has any power over me. Not silicone, not insecticides, not allergies, not danders, not pollens, like moles, all the things. I was once subject to all those things. Poison ivy, moles, danders, horse dander, dog dander, all those things. Once you buy into a negative belief system, the only way you can get out of it is to constantly cancel it. So in looking at health, let's talk, how does a disease happen? Well, you have the prevailing level of consciousness of the person. That level of consciousness means they're going to be firing off thoughts. Those thoughts, if they're negative thoughts, anytime you hold a thought in mind that makes you go weak with kinesiology, what happens is you're blowing the immune system. You're blowing a whole acupuncture meridian. You are disturbing the energy of the organ energized by that acupuncture meridian. So you hold a negative thought in mind. That affects the emotional body. The emotional body affects that energy around the physical body called the etheric body, through which the acupuncture system flows. That subtly alters in a pathologic direction the physiology of the physical body organ. Consequently, the way people die and get themselves off the planet is by holding negative belief systems and thoughts. I've seen people recover from every ailment known to mankind by going back up the other way, by canceling negative thoughts, by elevating their level of consciousness, by holding loving thoughts instead of negative thoughts. I myself did the same thing. I got rid of everything. I used to think athlete's foot, you caught that in showers. And of course, then I did. And dandruff, you got it at the barber. And I had ulcers and diverticulitis and migraine headaches. I even had a pilonidal cyst, which is something that's supposedly actually surgical. All kinds of things wrong with the gastrointestinal. I was so allergic when I was a kid to the belief allergic to poison ivy that I literally landed in the hospital for 2 weeks with it. All those things have disappeared spontaneously and gone away. So that one can cure oneself. I know people with advanced multiple sclerosis, all kinds of different cancers, all kinds of diseases that have refused the negative belief system. You have to say it doesn't apply to me. I realize everybody out there believes that. In doing that, for instance, I went out one time and I dug up a whole plant of poison ivy and played with it on some TV program I was on. At one time, that would have put me in the hospital. So that's probably the value of following some consciousness-raising program, such as I use the Course in Miracles because it is such a common and easy one to do, the workbook in the Course in Miracles. Because when you get up to about lesson 97, you'll find that people are no longer subject to going weak with supposedly negative stimuli. you know, almost everybody will go weak with fluorescent lights, pesticides, all those kind of things. But as your own consciousness reaches a certain level, the realization that you are the source of all these belief systems and you're what's empowering them, you then become immune.
Remember when I was looking for some volunteers, I was going to give a lecture and a course in kinesiology. And this was at the clinic back east, and there were some friends of mine hanging around, people I knew. And I said, I have to give this lecture tonight, and I knew they were going to be there. I said, can I use you as a subject? Yeah, so I usually demonstrate the effect of sweet and low and fluorescent lights and pesticides. So as I tried each of these things, none of them went weak. Everybody goes weak. By that time, I tested thousands of people in large audiences. Everybody went weak to sweet and low. And I thought, whoa, what's going on here? Well, they were all studying the Course in Miracles, and the Course, which is a workbook. And it turned out by the time they got to lesson 90, they were immune to most of the, they wouldn't go weak with all the negative things that anybody in the world goes weak with. And so I went back and sort of studied it specifically because I was sort of blown away by this. And it turns out around lesson 76 in the Course in Miracles in the workbook, once you pass lesson 76 or so, you're no longer subject to anything except what you hold in mind. And I thought, wow, that's curious. And I went back and looked at, I think it was 76, and it said, I'm only subject to what I hold in mind.